So in this video, we're going to be setting up the Windows environment for the blockchain Bootcamp. Now I'm going to be building out the Windows environment on Windows 10. If you are on Windows 11, don't worry, it is the same process. Now below the video, there is going to be a link to the checklist. You're going to want to make sure you open that up because you'll need it to reference. Alright, so for step 1 in the checklist, we're going to go over to our C drive and create a new folder called Pro. So we're going to go over to our File Explorer, navigate to local disk C, then click on a new folder near the top and type in Pro, so PR0, and then enter. Then you can close out the File Explorer, and that is step 1. Alright, for now, step 2, we're going to go and open up Windows PowerShell as administrator. So you can come down to the bottom left where we have the magnifying glass. Go ahead and type in power and then run as administrator. Click yes. Make this bigger. And over on our checklist, we're going to copy these 3 commands here. Come back to your terminal and then hit on your keyboard Control V and then enter. Now you may see an error here depending on your version of your operating system. You can ignore this for now. It is perfectly fine to ignore. For step 3, we're going to go ahead and restart your PC. So now that we have restarted our PC, we're going to go ahead and move on to step number 4, where we download and install WSL2. Come down here and click open. A window like this should pop up. Click next, click yes, and then finish. Now for step number 5, we're going to go ahead and download and install Ubuntu from the Microsoft Store. So you're going to come down to the search bar, type in store. You'll see the store pop up. And up in the top search bar, you can type in Ubuntu. And we're going to install this version. Do not install any of the LTS versions because you will encounter some errors. So just install the regular one. And then we're going to open it. You'll see Ubuntu pop up like this. So once the installation completes, we're going to enter a username. So the username can be anything you want it to be. And then set a password. And then once you see this down at the bottom, we've completed this step, so we can go ahead and close this out. Now we're going to move on to step number 6, where we're going to download and install Windows Terminal from the Microsoft Store. So back in the Microsoft Store, go ahead and search Windows Terminal. Should be the first one that pops up, and then go ahead and install it. Now we can go ahead and open it. And you should see something like this pop up. Now for step 6.1, we're going to set up our terminal settings to link it with Ubuntu. So up in the top tab bars here, where you see this little down arrow, go ahead and click on that, come down to settings, and you'll see something like this. Down here, we're going to click on open JSON file. Now, if your window is slightly smaller, you may see like a cogwheel, or if it's even more smaller, you may just see this. You can just click that open JSON file. Okay. Now it should open up a text editor. You may need to select the text editor if it says how do you want to open it. But you'll see something like this. So now on step 6.3, we're going to go ahead and click on this link. It'll take us to a GitHub page. We're going to copy everything inside of this file down to line 115. We're going to hit Control C on your keyboard, or you can right click and copy. Then back over in your text editor here, let me just do this. We're going to hit Control A and then delete, and then you're going to hit Control V to paste it all in, and then Control S to save the file, or you go up to File and then Save. Once we do that, we can close this out. You can close out the GitHub link, and back in Windows Terminal here, you can go ahead and close this out. And we could also go ahead and close out the Microsoft Store as well. And that'll be 6.1, 6.2, and 6.3 completed. So for step 6.4, we're going to go ahead and open back up Windows Terminal. So come down to the search bar, type in TER, and when you open it, your Windows Terminal should now look like this. So for step 6.4, we're going to go ahead and run this command. So you can click copy or just highlight it and then Control C. Come back to Windows Terminal and hit Control V and then enter. It's going to ask you for your password. So go ahead and enter it. All right, so that's 6.4. Now we move on to 6.5. We're going to go ahead and copy this command. Come back to Windows Terminal and hit Control V, enter. It's going to ask if you want to continue. Just go ahead and press Y and then enter. So that is 6.5 done. And 6.5.1. So for 6.6, same thing. Go ahead and copy this. And then come back here and Control V, enter. Once again, ask if you want to continue. Press Y and then enter. So that is 6.6 done, and 6.6.1. I'm going to go ahead and real quick type in clear in the terminal and then enter just to restart the terminal. Or well, not restart, but just clear it out. Now for step 6.7, we're going to link Sublime Text up. So if you haven't installed Sublime Text yet, you can go to sublimetext.com. Go ahead and download for Windows and go through the installation. You do not need to use Sublime Text if you don't want to. And if you decide that you don't want to use Sublime Text, then you can technically skip this step. Now we have two potential commands here that we can use. So we're going to need to check which Sublime Text you may have installed. So to do this, we can go down to our File Explorer, go down to your local disk, into Program Files, and then scroll down until you see Sublime Text. So for me, it just says Sublime Text. For you, it may say some Sublime Text 3. So if it says Sublime Text 3, you're going to copy this command instead. For me, since it just said Sublime Text, I'm going to copy this first one here. So just copy it, come back to Windows Terminal, hit Control V, and enter. Now for 6.8, we're going to execute this command. So just copy it, come back to Terminal, and Control V, enter. This will allow you for when you start your React application in the project, instead of typing npm start, you will type in npms like that. So for step 6.9, we're going to go ahead and install NVM, which will be our Node version manager, where we can install multiple different versions of Node. So we're just going to go ahead and copy that, come back to terminal, and then paste it in. Now your output may look slightly different here. If you see errors, you can ignore it for the most part. So now that we've done that, we can go ahead and restart Windows Terminal. So just hit the X up here, come back down to your search bar and type in TER. Go ahead and open it. Now we're going to go ahead and verify that we successfully installed NVM by typing in nvm space -v, and you should see a version number returned here. We're going to go ahead and now install our version of Node by typing in nvm install 16.14.2, and then hit enter. So it looks like it's successfully installed. We can verify that it did install by typing in node-v now. And you should now see 16.14.2 there. And that is step 6.10 done. So that completes our environment setup. You can now move on to the next lesson in the bootcamp. Now, if you had any trouble going through the installation steps here, or if you have any trouble in the next lesson, when we actually go ahead and create the project, if you are inside of the Slack community, be sure to make a post inside one of the channels. If you are not inside of Blockchain Mastery University, you can go ahead and shoot an email over to dev@dappuniversity.com. But with that being said, that is our environment complete.